Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to My Hometown. I'm Bill Horan, along with my co-host, Stacy Raine.
Bill, today we are going to meet a local business owner who has turned her love of balloon artistry into a huge success.
I can't wait to find out what balloon artistry really is.
Our guest today is Renee Morgan, the owner and creator of Aviator Balloons, located here in Bellmore, Long Island. Aviator Balloons curates customizable party decor and balloon garlands to enhance your special events.
Renee, welcome to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you've got to tell me, because you're educating me today here, what do you mean by balloon artistry, and what is a balloon artist?
So balloon artist stems from using classic artistry, so taking fine art such as color, design, aesthetic, coordination, and bringing that to balloons to enhance any theme that you have. So it could be from a baby shower to birthday parties to corporate branding events. We use balloons as our source or a medium to express that.
Interesting.
And how long have you been doing this?
We are going into our 11th year, but I started as an artist before, sketching and drawing, so my love for art just stemmed over into using balloons as a medium.
That was going to be one of my questions, is were you already an artist and now you just transitioned? Oh, so tell us how you got into balloons from your sketching and general artist days.
So I started in high school doing watercolor, pencils, acrylic, and I've always had a love for how science blends with the arts. So I've always had a love for the color wheel, which is one of the things that I'm known for, is blending colors. So taking two balloons to make a different color, using like additive and subtraction. And then throughout college, I would always be sketching and drawing, even though like I went to school to become a pilot. So there's like just so many different things that goes on with that. But yeah, it just blended over, and then I started doing nails, and I did nails for a while. So I just found different, artistry in different things. And then it blended over into doing balloons, and now I try to bleed all of those things together using acrylic paint on the balloons. So not just using balloons as a medium, but also as a canvas.
Bill, did you hear how she just threw in she went to school to study aviation to be a pilot?
I heard that, and I'm saying this would be one of those things on a quiz show. They would really have a lot of fun with you.
Yeah.
Because you did this, and then you did nail, like a nail parlor where people go.
Yeah.
And that got you to balloons.
Yes.
Is that the traditional route?
No, there are some second and third generation balloon artists where their parents were balloon artists before. I grew up, my mom was an entrepreneur, so I saw that entrepreneurial spirit. But for me, I'm kind of like bulldozer. So I try to like find my own way or my own path, and whatever I love at the time, I just, deep dive into it. And that's what I've been doing with balloons for the last 11 years.
Stacy, mark that down, because this is a first. You're the first guest who described herself as a bulldozer. Okay, so that's a first for our show. Let me mark that at the bottom of the show, bulldozer. So I've got it on my notes.
So the name of your company is Aviator Balloons. So
Yes.
There is a tie-in here. Can you tell us how you came to that name and why?
So before we rebranded as Aviator Balloons, we were Balloons by Design, because I used to hand sketch all of my designs for my customers. And then one day I went to my local wholesaler having a party. I have to shout them out. And they saw me in my uniform, because I used to work for the Port Authority at the time as an airport inspector. So I had my uniform on, went in to buy balloons because I was rushing to work. And they're like, wait, what do you do? And then they started asking questions, and I told them about my aviation background. And they're like, oh, the aviator. And every time I walked in, they would say, hey, the aviator's here. So that's how I rebranded into Aviator Balloons.
Yeah.
Which is a good talking point as well.
Oh, absolutely.
It is, because I thought when you said aviator, well, aviators fly, balloons fly, they're up in the air, and I thought that's a cute tie-in for it. And it's a totally different story, right?
Yeah.
You're filled with surprises here. Next you're going to pull out a gun or something and
No.
tell us that's how you do things. So. Now, am I putting myself in danger if I ask you what is the aviator effect?
So the aviator effect is taking a plain wall, canvas, numbers, marquees, a backdrop, an area, and bringing that wow factor to it. So you never know what we're going to bring. Sometimes we'll infuse leather. Sometimes we'll infuse printed balloons. We'll double stuff balloons to create a custom color that matches exactly with what you're doing.
Okay.
We'll bring in different mediums, so bobos. We'll paint on some of the balloons to create texture. We'll bring in flowers. So that's really the aviator effect, is giving me a theme and just letting me run wild with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of like a creative composition of balloons.
Yeah.
What would you say is the wildest run you've ever taken? We think of balloons, and when I first heard about this show, I said, okay, balloons, what comes to mind? Babies, parties, birthdays, all happy anniversaries, etc. But it sounds like you take it to whole new places in outer space.
Yeah, we curate stories around what we do. So we've done baby showers where we've taken a theme and we've just created a storyline around it. So once as you walk in, from the second you walk in that event, it's a feel, it's a mood that we are curating. So it's everything from adding lights into the balloons to shine on a particular area, or using gaps within the balloons to allow light to come in. We've added pearls. We do New York Fashion Week, and they give us free reign to do a collection every season. We just did one 2 days ago, actually, for this that starts tonight. And we infused over 10,000 beads into our balloon decor, some which are draped, some which are weaved into the balloons, then others which are like glued onto it. And then we created a balloon dress that complemented the design that we did. So
cool.
There's so many...
Wait. Now I'm the man in the room. I'm surrounded by two beautiful ladies, but a balloon dress?
Yes.
This sounds like something like Lady Gaga would wear or something.
Yes. So it is using what we call 260 or modeling balloons, which is a balloon that is 2 inches wide by 60 inches long when it's fully inflated. And we're weaving them together to create a bodice that is a wearable balloon art.
That is really cool.
Stacy has never worn her balloon dress here. I'm sure you have many of them. And she's just never worn one to the studio.
We could make one.
You can make one?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll model it.
See, I got you in for it. And you'd be the model. This is perfect. This is good. I'll step out and you two can just talk.
All right.
I cannot wait to see pictures of that one. So I was reading a little bit about your backstory. So I would love for you to tell our listeners how you got started in the balloon world. And I mean, you're not just making balloon arches, as they can hear. You are a true artist. So let's tell them a little bit about how you began.
Got into it.
Yeah.
Back in 2014, my aunt needed balloons for her bridal shower. And we thought at the time it was so expensive. We're like, no, I could do that. And obviously I'm the kind of person that's like, I could do everything, right?
Yeah.
So I picked it up, I tried it, and I was like, this is not as easy as it looks.
No.
And at the time, there wasn't that much on YouTube, or, Instagram wasn't even around at the time. So I had to kind of like self-taught. So I sat down and I bought some balloons, Party City stuff, and just tried, just working it. And I was like, there has to be a code that I'm not cracking with this.
Yeah.
And then I found out that there was actually a professional balloon certification that you can get. So I started to go to conferences and take class by professionals that have been in the industry for like 20 years before me, and realized that this is a industry, not just inflating balloons, but there's a whole industry behind this. And there's different genres on the tree of balloons.
Really?
Right? From making a balloon dress to making an arch to doing organics to doing distortion, where you're putting one balloon inside of another to create a flower. Right? So there's so many different genres and pieces that you can like put together to create a composition of balloon artistry. It's just like, I was like wowed, and I'm still wowed today because there's so much more that I can learn and can bring. And then there's different classification of balloons. So I started to explore with that, not just your round balloons, but your linking balloons. So a balloon that has 2 ends. And then your modeling balloons that the entertainers of the industry would use to make balloon animals. So I started experimenting with that. And that's one of the things that's helped me to diversify what I do, where I've worked for Paramount Pictures and the New York Fashion Week. Those are the things that has added on to my resume that has made me distinguishable as a balloon artist in New York, because New York is very competitive.
I mean, it sounds like a whole new world just opened up for you.
Yes.
I'm going to remind our listeners that you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Stacy Raine here with Bill Horan, and today we are learning about a unique business located right here in Bellmore, Long Island called Aviator Balloons, which curates customizable party decor and balloon garlands to enhance your special events. Our guest is the owner and creator, Renee Morgan.
Renee, I'm sitting here and maybe you see my mouth open, and you probably do, because I'm learning so much, and in a way, I'm almost thinking you're playing me here, and you're just going to see how many things you can say till I say, wait, that can't be. First of all, you said something. There's an organization that certifies balloons.
Yes.
Is that a real thing,
Yeah,
or did
that's
you
a
make
real
that up
thing.
to catch me?
No, that's not an imaginary thing. That is a real thing. We are certified balloon artists, and you go through a certification process of how to make a column, how to make an arch, color coordination, style, aesthetics, stuff like that, so that you could bring more of like a belly or a baseline to what you do, and it's not just inflating random balloons and throwing them together.
Now, I'm going to do a test on this because I don't trust you anymore, because that's amazing. Stacy comes from another part of the country. Have you ever heard of any of this stuff, or did you know somebody certifies balloon artists?
Now, I didn't know there was a certification, but I do know that it is very difficult. It is not easy. When I was reading your story, I was like, oh, yeah, I can only imagine. The balloon arches are really, I mean, just even an art. So to think that you're doing these whole installations is really, I didn't even know that was a thing. I mean, I guess I've probably seen it, but not really registered. Like, oh, this is something that someone sits down and sketches out and has to do
measurements. Yeah. There's a lot that goes behind it. I work with an organization. We travel around the world to do these profitable bills for charity. It's called the Big Balloon Build. And we've used sometimes over 100,000 balloons.
Wow.
And every single design is mocked up by the T, because you have to measure the floor, you have to measure the ceiling, you have to measure the height. We have to make sure that our structures and stuff that we're building makes sense, right? So it doesn't topple over. And the last one I did was in Indiana in April, and that was with the Ronald McDonald Foundation there.
Oh, amazing.
And the money that we raised went back to the Ronald McDonald Foundation, and we used over 100,000 balloons. We created a life-size carnival with a life-size Ferris wheel, carousel. We had strongmen, the thing that they hit. We had duck ponds that you could shoot. We had, I'm forgetting now. Yeah. But we had so many different installations that we brought in and built from scratch. So every balloon is actually sized to a ideal measurement. And that is used to help to bring all of this to life. So there's a little more science and math that goes behind it.
I was just thinking that for everyone in school right now, for my kids who say, oh, when am I ever going to need math again? Well, you just never know. You never know what you're going to get into that requires a significant amount of math, right? And artistry, though. I mean, I can only imagine how magical that carnival must have been for everyone who got to see it.
It's amazing. It's when it comes to life, like, it's 4 days of hard work, number one, and it's over 75 balloon artists that came together. We stopped all of our business to come together to do this. But the last day, when everything comes together, you see all the fine details. It's just like amazing.
That you've done with 75 other artists. It's really cool. And now you are teaching new balloon artists, right? Is that correct?
Yes, I teach with a company called Prima Balloons.
Okay.
And I have a mentorship as well. So I mentor about 38 different balloon artists around the world. We meet on a Monday and Tuesday, and we talk everything from balloon business to getting clientele to everything from a job cost form to websites to social media. So there's so much more that goes behind having a business now than it was like years ago. You have to like master your home turf, and then, master like getting all the certifications for schools and vendor forms and all of this stuff. So a lot of times when people come in, they don't really anticipate how much work it is to actually network and get clients. So that's one of the things that I help them with. And then I teach classes on design, styling, ethics, even ergonomics, right? The use of base plates and the use of like standing on pressure mats and making sure you have the right ladders for jobs, and avoiding long-term injuries such as like tennis elbow and trigger finger syndrome. Those are real things that will happen to a balloon artist if we're not careful as to how we inflate and what we use to inflate. So, yeah.
Well, I have a question later about what you use to inflate, but I'm thinking about your background as an aviator. I'm assuming all of your training for that are you bringing some of it into this business? I'm hearing you give all these scientific terms and
I am bringing some of that in. I have 4 degrees outside of that, 3 undergrad and 1 master's.
Wow.
So some of that does come over. My master's degree was really in curriculum and writing and safety. So a lot of that does come over into writing full curriculums for the balloon industry and training other balloon artists to, have that level or that standard within their business. So some of that does come over. My undergrad is in aviation meteorology. So I'm a meteorologist. I'm a scientist.
Yeah.
A research
I can tell when you're
before.
Wait. You two have a nice conversation here. Aviation meteorology?
Yes.
Come on, you got to explain that. I don't have that in my book of definitions before I came in tonight.
So it is basically the weather for pilots. So we would do forecasts for the aviation industry and even for like Home Depot or somewhere like that uses that information to sell merchandise. So for the aviation part of it, you'll do from airport analysis to airspace analysis, so like JFK airspace, and then you go to like a New York and a New Jersey airspace. So using all of your synoptic and dynamic meteorology training to do forecasts for airlines and for airports. So that's really what that degree was all about.
I can tell she's a good teacher because she can break things down to our level.
Very good. But I don't think we've ever done a show, certainly not me, where my mouth has been hanging open so much as you say things, and each thing is becoming more and more amazing.
Well,
I just figure you're going to say, when I was at NASA, the space people, I helped them put the rockets up there, and they took some balloons and dropped them while they were in space.
I wish. On the list.
How big is your company?
So my company right now, we have 5 employees. We try to keep our overhead really low so that we can be as profitable as possible. There are days that we're fully slammed, and then there are days in the balloon industry that we're prepping 4 days.
It would sound that way. That I go along with. That makes a lot of sense. Now, if you're looking for someone, do you have? It sounds like you almost have to require someone to be either a physics major or a scientist or a math major. And I'm not kidding. I mean, I never thought of that till I started talking to you, and you're grinning. So I guess I'm right.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. So we need worker bees, right? Because a lot of the design does come from in my head.
Yeah.
So I can visualize something and bring it to life, and I can disseminate that information down to where, okay, I need a 12-inch balloon to be inflated to a 9-inch. And I just need people to inflate that because maybe we need 1,000 of those, right? So not too many chefs in the kitchen to say that. We just need more worker bees. And that's normally when I call on my mentees or students that I've mentored or taught in the past to come on like larger installation jobs. And that gives them some real world experience too, because it's good when you're sitting in a classroom and you can break stuff down. You have enough time to talk about it. But in real time, when you have a go time for your event or you have an end time that guests are coming in, that's when the pressure comes in and you see who's really cut out for it.
Right. Fashion Week is starting. We got to get this thing ready.
Get it done,
I'm betting the Fashion Week thing is one of your proudest moments, right? What are some of the other ones that you've just been Ronald McDonald House, I would bet is one. But what are some of the things that have just really made you stand back and think, I'm really proud of this work?
I was just featured in a movie.
Ooh.
So, Imaginary Friends by Paramount Pictures. I actually did the props for that movie. So that was my first Hollywood set. So that one I was really, really proud of. Thank you.
Well, I will have to go check that out, and I'm going to yell when I see the balloons.
Yes. We made over 80 balloon flowers for that. And it was one of the more technical jobs where you would think it's just a balloon flower, whatever. But every part of that flower had to be identical for each of those. So the technical part of the work comes in where even the pressure in the balloon had to be the same or it would pick up on camera. So that was a learning curve for me, because you're getting penalized right there. The casting manager is looking and he's like, this one doesn't really look that, and he throws it to the side. So it's like your ego can be bruised right there when you're doing a prop for a set. But then I really understood where the technical training part of this comes in. Because now it's like, each petal has to curve the same way. The stem has to be the same length. And then I had an opportunity not just to make them, but to see rolling, what they call like the film rolling. So they did like 10 takes for one thing before the balloon popped, and then I had to give them another balloon, and I got a chance to walk on set and walk on the green screen and walk around the studio to see that. So that in itself is something that I will never forget.
Absolutely. You are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Stacy Raine here with Bill Horan, and today we are learning about a unique business located here in Bellmore, Long Island, called Aviator Balloons, which curates customizable party decor and balloon garlands to enhance your special events and movies. Our guest is the owner and creator, Renee Morgan.
I've got so many questions. We're going to have 3 episodes of the show. But do you have any unique titles in your business? That it sounds like you do, because it overlaps so many fields that I would have never thought of. I thought the biggest thing you needed was, a heavy guy with a lot of lungs that could blow up a lot of balloons. And it sounds like it's really more mathematical, almost computer generated, and many interesting things that I never even thought of. So is there a unique title that you have, like Director of Balloonology or something?
I wish there was a Balloonology. No, production manager for the business. So on bigger sets, I really stand back, and it's kind of like an orchestra where, you'll direct people to do, what is necessary to be done for the gig. But on the back end of it, it takes a lot of like prep work, which I think people don't see. Like we just did back to school, and we did 3 schools in one morning, which meant that we had to be up out of bed by 1:30 a.m. because all the schools are open at 7.
Right.
So all of that back end logistics, even making sure we have the right equipment, enough equipment, enough balloons, right, enough people to take on that task. And then it also comes down to the pricing of it as well, right? In order for us to wake up that early and get those jobs done in that, particular time, the staffing and making sure everyone's paid appropriately. So there's the business side of it, there's a science side of it, and it's just really playing puppet master behind the scenes at some point in the business.
I see the term large scale installations. What does that mean? Is that just doing it for a big production, or does that mean something different in the balloon world?
So large scale in the balloon world is anything over 2,000 balloons. Yeah. So there are 2 different genres right now, overall genres in balloons, where you have what is called classic decor, where each balloon is calibrated to a size. And then you have organic decor, where you use 3 to 4 different sizes in a composition. Each can be as large and as grand as you want. It's really depending on the overall look. So classic has a more crisp, clean finish versus organic that has a more bubbly, overflowing finish. So we've done either scale or either genre on a large scale. So it really just depends on what the client wants.
I was just going to say, if we ever need a witness in court to talk about balloons,
Yeah.
you know so much about it. If anybody uses it as a weapon or in a murder or something, they're definitely going to have you as the expert
You're really
witness.
taking us in a different
You're throwing
direction
stuff
from
out here
parties
that-
and, fashion shows, Bill.
Bam, bam, bam.
But but to seeing your vision come to life must be just an incredible feeling, especially when you're doing things like Ronald McDonald House and, movies and fashion shows. Wow.
For sure. It's amazing when, especially if I have an idea in my head, sometimes you really don't know how it's going to play out because it's just an idea. So to bring that from an idea to actual life size, or just, you have to stand back sometimes and be like, I just did that.
Yeah.
And I've done that a couple times in my career, where I've taken almost 400 star balloons, your average star balloons, and I've created this jumbo 18 by 20 foot wall out of it. And it's the precision of it. It's really understanding the dynamic of how these things work. And we don't only work with latex. We have latex free options as well. So that's another thing that I'm known for in the industry, is doing an entire party with all foil balloons.
So I did want to ask you about that. I know that you use different materials, you don't even use helium, right? Because you're environmentally conscious. Tell us a little bit more about that whole side of things.
So we do use helium. However, because helium when it's inside of a semi-permeable membrane, such as a balloon, and tied onto a string, if you release it and it gets into a electric line, it can cause fire. What we do is every balloon that we sell with helium is tied to a weight. We don't care if it's one balloon or if it's 10 balloons, to avoid that. And we're also thinking about the environment, where these balloons are going. If they end up in the ocean, some of them are not biodegradable, such as the foil balloons. However, our latex are 100% natural biodegradable. And also with Prima, what we do is our bags are also water soluble. So we're not using any plastic in the bags as well. So those are the things that we're thinking about with the environment, because we know the stigma that balloons have gotten over the years, and we're trying to reverse that. And then all of our balloons are compostable. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a compostable balloon, but now I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll go back to balloons.
Yes.
Renee, if somebody wants to learn this, did you say you teach this, or are there classes that are available through your organization?
Yes. So there are classes that are available on the website. We have our Halloween class coming up, and then also our Christmas class coming up. So we'll teach decor that is super sellable, and then we'll also teach you a scaling factor of it as well. So not just pretty designs, but also the business part and how to price it for customers.
And if somebody is looking for you now, they've heard all this, and really you have me excited about balloons, because I thought it goes to little kids' parties and you paint faces on them or something. This is a whole new world you've introduced me to, and I assume Stacy also. Where would someone reach you? How do they get in touch with you and talk to you about balloons for their next party or event, or even maybe a big picnic next year they're running or something? So
you could go through aviatorballoons.com, or you can give us a phone call at 516-343-7033. That's the two most reliable ways to get in touch with us. A lot of times we're on the road, we're doing stuff, so that's there. And then you can also send in an inquiry form through the website that will help us to data mine you as a customer and also get some of the initial logistics down, such as your color, theme. You can add photos to your inquiry to let us know, like, this is the inspiration that we want for that event, and then also your budget.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm totally thrown by this interview, so you've definitely surprised us today. And don't forget, now, you promised on the air a balloon dress.
Yes.
We have a model here, a beautiful lady, and if we do this is going to be the highlight of your career, really.
Okay.
I promise you that. So. Renee,
that's grand.
We want to thank Renee Morgan, our guest. She's the owner and creator of Aviator Balloons, a unique business located in Bellmore, Long Island. Thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome.
I'd like our audience to know that I'm Bill Horan. I'm here with Stacy Raine. We thank you for listening to this week's episode.
We like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to WHPC@ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.